Hello everyone, this is Tarrega and we are back to guitar lesson 5 today. So today we're learning how to use the right hand thumb and the right hand ring finger. These are live lessons on Twitch, and if you're watching on YouTube, then these are of course videos on demand. But if you ever want to catch these live, you can join us on Twitch at around 3 p.m. Pacific time. So right now we're learning how to use the thumb and we're learning how to use the ring finger. So we have P, the thumb, I, M, and A. Up until now we've been using mostly just I and M, but to play more advanced music we have to learn how to play with the thumb and the ring finger. We're going to learn our open string names as well, so if you learn them using a memory trick or mnemonic device going this way, then we have everybody gets drunk at Ernie's, or every boy gets donuts at Ernie's. So one of those you can think of going up this way. The three new notes that we're going to learn today are called E, our very last open string here, 6 open string. We have A, the open 5 string. We have D, the open 4th string. So when we use our thumb, there's, and even when we use our fingers, there's basically 2 types of strokes. We have free stroke, which is where we strum away from this other strings and we just hit either into the air, or we touch our hand with the fingers like this. That's a free stroke. Or we have rest strokes, which is where we pluck into the next string without playing it. We use the next string as a stopper. For most of what we're doing today, we're just going to be doing free strokes. And the way you want to do this is you want to have your thumb planted in the center of the sound hole. We pluck, and we, for me, the way I like to practice getting a good strum in is to actually touch my first finger with my thumb. So as we go through this, we'll be pausing at certain points just like usual. This first note that we're learning is how we notate our 6th string E. So it's at the very bottom of these 3 ledger lines here. Okay, let's try this. You can even have your first I, M, and A planted if you'd like, but you don't have to. But if you feel like this gives you more security, then that's an option too. So no left hand here, right? Because we don't have to push anything down for open strings. Let's give this a try. We're playing our 6th string open E. And as usual, you can look off to the right if you want to see where any of these notes are on the guitar and where they're notated. Yep, let's get our count in. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Going on to half notes now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Quarter notes now. Okay, so that gives us quite a few strums of our E there. If you haven't played with your thumb very often, then your thumb could feel a little bit sore, especially if you're playing on a steel string guitar. That's normal. You might even develop a callus for a little while. That's also normal. Those do go away and your fingers get tough. just like with everything else on guitar, and eventually it will not be uncomfortable anymore, but it just takes some time. The A string, or the A note that we're playing here, is the open 5 string, and it's notated like this with 2 ledger lines. Okay, so let's play our A string. Once again, if you feel like you want to plant your fingers on your first 3 strings for security, you can. One thing to not get into the habit of, just in case you're trying this, is don't plant your fingers on the wood of the guitar like this. That actually creates a little bit too much tension, and it also restricts your mobility a little bit more. There's no reason to have your fingers on the body of the guitar. So either have them just hanging out in the air like this, following your thumb, or you can have them, if you need them planted, you can have them planted on the strings like this. That's okay. Okay, here we go, starting on our open A string here, open 5 string. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Half notes. 2. Quarter notes. Okay, keep making sure that you're doing your free strokes, right, into either kind of into the air like this, or if you even want to make contact with your hand like this, that's good. But for now, no rest strokes, right? We're not actually using the next string as a stopper. Rest strokes are good, but we're not doing those right now, just free strokes. Okay, next we're doing the open D string. That's the open 4th string. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Quarter notes. Okay, now we're going to practice switching between 2 notes with our thumb. Since we don't have 2 thumbs, we can't alternate, right? So we're going to just use thumb, 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 thumb. Luckily our thumb is pretty strong and we can use it a lot. So when we're alternating between E and A, we could either do free stroke, then go back to A and do free stroke, free stroke, free stroke, or we could do a rest stroke into the A string like this, and that would set us up for being on the A. So again, a rest stroke is when we stop on the next string without playing it. We use it as a stopper. The word rest doesn't mean that we have to stay on that string at all. Like, we don't have to stand there for a set amount of time. Even just touching it for a split second, it's still considered a rest stroke. Like that. That's also a rest stroke, because we're touching that next string and using it as a stopper. So let's do a rest stroke from the E to the A, and then when we do the A, let's do a free stroke. Rest stroke, free stroke, like that. Remember, rest stroke is stopping into the next string, free stroke is either going into the air or even going all the way into touching your finger, using your finger as the stopper instead. Okay, here we go, from E to A, switching back and forth. Open 6 string, open 5 string. Rest, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, rest. Going on to free stroke. 2, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4, 2. Now, same idea, except for we're going to do open A, or the open 5 string, to open 4 string. Open 5, open 4, or A and D. Rest, 2, 3, 4, free stroke. You can plant or prepare the A again before you even need it. 2, 3, 4. Going back to A before you need it, it's okay. 3, 4. Okay, next we're switching between open E, or the open 6, and D, open 4. Open 6, open 4. So for this one, there's really no benefit to doing a rest stroke, because it doesn't put you on the string that you need to be on, right? So you could do free stroke, free stroke. You might notice, though, after you've played a few of the rest strokes and free strokes, that there is actually a sound difference. A rest stroke tends to have a stronger sound. Rest stroke, free stroke, rest stroke, free stroke. If you can't hear it through the microphone that I'm playing through, then I'm sure that you can probably hear a bit of a difference at home. So rest strokes have a probably a more rich sound, a bit louder. And you can get that sound out of free strokes, but I think you do have to work a bit harder to get it out. Okay, so going between 6th string open and 4th string open, E and D. Let's do 2 free strokes now, no rest strokes. 2, 3, 4, D. 2. Remember, you can always prepare before you need the note. Going to D now before we need it. Going back to E before we need it. 2, 3. Going back to D. Preparing E. Preparing D. Okay. Now we're switching between E, A, and D. Alright, so 6, 5, and 4, and then back to 5, or E, A, D, and A. We're doing half notes now too, so the rhythm of our right hand will increase a little bit. We'll get a bit faster. Starting on E. 2, going to A. 2, D. 2, A. E. Let's do that one again. Let's do this one maybe just a couple of times. We're going to do this one with all rest strokes first, and then we'll do it with all free strokes next. So one more time with rest strokes. Remember, using each next string as a stopper. Here we go. Starting on E, rest, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, D, back to A, 2, E, A, D, A. Same thing again, only this time we're going to do free strokes. So we're not using that string as a stopper. Next, we have E to A to D to A again. So same idea, except for now we're increasing the rhythm a little bit. So we have half, quarter, quarter, half, quarter, quarter, half, right? So 2 beats and then 2 quarters. 1 half note, 2 quarter notes. You can take your pick on rest or free on this one. Now that brings us to using our thumb and our fingers together, and I think for most people this is probably sort of tricky at first, so let's talk about it for a second. In general, I think most people find it difficult to do a rest stroke thumb with their fingers, and I think most people find free stroke thumb with the finger a little bit easier to do. Adjust my camera here just a little bit. Let's see. As long as we don't make the camera crash, I'm happy. Okay, a bit better angle there. Okay, so yeah, we want, we're going to be alternating M and I, just like we have usually. You can see up here I have every single M and I notated, so try to follow those as closely as you can. We're starting on M instead of I. There's a reason for that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So yeah, free stroke thumb, because that's, for most people, I think a bit easier to do than rest stroke thumb at the same time. So it's going to look like this, thumb and M at the same time. And you're going to do this sort of pulling motion into your palm. Your palm should basically look like a very loose fist when you're done, with your thumb sort of on top of your hand. So don't do like a closed fist like this. Don't let your hand be sort of open. And one of the things I see a lot is people kind of use this first knuckle to do a lot of their picking, and it like tenses the hand up, and it gets this not a very good sound. So you do actually want to start the motion from like this knuckle, and then kind of around this area is where the motion really starts, so you get a nice big sound. And that also keeps your hand loose. The more often you use your large muscles to do the movement of your fingers, the better, because those are the muscles that won't get worn out as much. The other ones are just kind of along for the ride. Okay, so let's do thumb and M on the 6 and the first string. E and E, right? They're both E's. Here we go from the top. 2, 3, now P and I. 2, P and M. 2, back to P and I. 2, 3, 4, P and M. Back to P and I. Back to P and M. Back to P and I. we're going to do that one again. If you felt like you had to let those ring, don't feel like that. You can actually replant really quickly like this if you'd like. Don't worry about the sound getting cut off, that's fine. Okay, let's try that same exercise one more time. You can plant, P and I, P and M, P and I, P and M, P and I, P and M, P and I. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, except for our I finger is now going to be on the second string instead of the first string. So the M will still stay on the first string E. I now gets second string B. Same idea otherwise though. Let's try it here. We'll go through this one twice as well. 2, 3, 4, P and I. Back to P and M. 3, 4, P and I. Once again, don't worry about letting those notes ring out for their full whole note duration. That's not the point of this. It's not so much a rhythmic exercise as it is technique. So if you want to cut off the sound so that you can have your fingers ready to pluck, then please do that. Okay, so starting here again. P and M. Going back to P and I. P and M. 2, 3, 4. 2. Going back to P and I. Sorry, P and M. Back to P and I. P and M. P and I. Okay. Now we're going to learn how to use the A finger today as well. So again, this lesson is all about learning the thumb or the P and the A, the ring finger, because we've been using these up until now, right? So we're adding our two other fingers, except for our poor little pinky's going to be left out for quite a while. So we're using A here. We use it just like we use our I and M. We pluck it with a diagonal angle of attack this way. And it's not perpendicular, it's not up this way, it's diagonal like this. Right? And we're going to add this into the alternation with M and I. Still, most of the time when you play stuff, most often you're probably going to be alternating I and M, but sticking an A in there at certain points makes a lot of sense. And when we have groups of 3 notes especially, it can work very well, because 3 fingers, 3 notes, it's a nice tool to have. And it's a harder finger to use than I and M. It's not as strong, but you can build it up to where it feels just about the same as these two. Okay, so we're doing A, M, I, or ring, middle index, on the E string, on the first string. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, all free strokes. Okay, now we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it on the second string instead. Second string B. And then after that, we'll actually just go straight on into the third string G after that. Second string B, third string G. Okay, starting on second string B. Third string G, open E string, open first string, and open second string at the same time. So it's going to look like this. A, or the ring finger, on the first string, M and I on the second string. Here we go. First, second, first, second. A, M, I, A, M, I. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, but now it will be on the second string and third strings instead of the first and second. So our A finger, ring, will get the second string. M and I will get the third string. Okay. 4 clicks and we'll start. Next, we're doing A, M, and I across 3 strings now. So A will get the first string, M will get the second, I will get the third. It's going to create that sound. Okay, here we go. Okay, before I forget, let me adjust our display here to look at multi-voice. There we go. So, now we're going to add our thumb to our finger notes. So we have thumb and finger going on at the same time, just like we did a little while earlier ago. A little while earlier, I should say. So we have thumb, and then we have A at the same time, and then we have M and I. Thumb and A, or P and A, will have 6 and 1, like this. M and I will have 2 and 3. Alright, so it's going to sound like this. Right. So we're doing that sort of pinching motion between thumb and ring, and then we're doing alternating M and I after that. This one might be a bit challenging, so this could be something you come back and practice too. Okay, here we go from this spot here, 177, 4 clicks, and we'll start. Let's do that one again. We're still doing free strokes across the board. We're not doing any rest strokes for now. Okay, here we go. Same exercise one more time. move our bass from E to A to D to A to E. We've actually done this before a little while ago. And then we're going to add our string, our first string to that moving bass as well. And this is going to prepare us to play a melody here in a little bit. So for now, just thumb. For this one, let's still do free stroke thumb, so don't worry about preparing on the next string. We'll just do free stroke thumb, and we're going 6 string or E, 5 string A, 4 string D, back to 5 string A. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, back to E, 6, right? A. 2, 3, 4. 3, back to A. Okay. Now we're doing that same exercise, but we're adding the A finger on the E string instead of our I and M, right? So P and A together like this. P and A together on this. Right? Same idea as before, but instead of using I and M, we're using A. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do that one more time. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're doing the thumb and the A finger, that's the thumb and the ring, to the middle finger. So it's going to look like this. Thumb and A to M. 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 Right? So this one is it's getting more challenging, and this is where, again, this might be something that you can't do right away, and this is something that you might need to practice, and that's okay. Just give it a try, and if you need to drop out one of the voices and just want to keep playing along with the bass or the fingers, that's all right. So let's give it a try here. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. 2. Let's do that one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to do something a bit pretty similar, except for we're adding our I finger now. So it's P and A, and that same M that we played before, only now we're adding our I finger on beat 4. Instead of holding our M finger for 2 beats. So I'll play that for a moment. It sounds like this. Okay, starting here, 4 clicks and we'll start. Same exercise one more time. Next we have a moving bass line. So we have the, we're actually going to be learning a melody. So we're starting this in steps, right? So step 1 is the bass line, and this is a little bit different than our moving bass line up here. So we actually start on the open string A, or the 5 string. Let me play the bass line for you so you can hear it, and then we'll try playing along with it. So it goes A, or the 5 string, 2, 3, 4 to D. It's the 4th string, back to A, 2, down to E, the 6. Up to A, the 5, D, 4, E, 6, and A, 5. Since I still think that beginners have a rough time with doing a rest stroke thumb plus the fingers, I would still suggest sticking with a free stroke thumb when we move on to this, adding the fingers. But if you want to try the free stroke thumb, sorry, the rest stroke thumb, and you feel like you can do that, then go right ahead. I'll probably be doing a combination of both. So do whatever you feel comfortable with right now. We're going to try this exercise here. Just the bass line. 4 clicks and we'll start. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's our bass line. The melody that we're adding is up here on top. So this is the part that you'd have, if these were split up into voices, you'd have your bass singer singing the low guitar part here, and you'd have your, probably not, well, guitar is kind of a low sounding instrument, but this is still, we'd probably call this our soprano voice still. So we've got our high singers up here and our low singers down here, right? So let's try this one too. So if you want to use your thumb and your A, you can do that. If you want to use your thumb and your I and M, you can also do that. Same exercise one more time. Step 2, bass line and one melody note one more time. our bass line with 2 melody notes. So the first melody note stays the same. We're adding another melody note on beat 3. Same thing one more time. Okay, so that's our bass line with 2 melody notes again. Okay, next we're doing bass line and 3 melody notes. So our first 2 melody notes stay the same. We're adding a third melody note, which is an extra one, right? So for these ones, I would actually suggest a very specific fingering. So I would suggest using I and M, or A and M for some of these, but you can actually do these with I and M for all of it. So you'd start with thumb and M at the same time, like this, and then you do I M, right? P and M, I M, P and M, I M, P and M, I M, something like that. If you want us to do P and A, and then I and M, that might even be better, because then you won't have to repeat your M finger, and we in general try to avoid repeating fingers. So I think the best possible solution for today would be P and A at the same time, and then I and M. P A, I M, P A, I M, P A, I M, P A, I M. For this step 4, P A I M. Okay, 4 clicks and we'll start, and we'll go ahead and do this one twice as well. Same exercise one more time. And just so you know, there's a lot of different right hand fingerings we could use. This is different players will do different things, but yeah, in general, try not to repeat right hand fingering if you can help it. Here we go. Well, so you can see our bass line has already turned into sort of something more, right? So we started with just our bass line of, and already we have something much more interesting. Okay, step 5 is 2 bass notes and 3 melody notes. So this is actually the same as step 4, with the exception that we're adding an extra bass note on beat 3. Just reiterating this one more time, if any of this is not doable right now, that's okay, because this is a brand new concept today, and these are not not easy techniques. So if you need to stop and practice this over the week and you can't play it right away, that's okay. But let's play through it 2 times here. Same thing again. Okay, so the challenge melody here is just for those of you who want to have something to work on hard over the week, and if you just want to see what this might turn into at some point. So sometimes you'll get composers that will take a melody and they'll do variations of it. They'll take the underlying melody and they'll expand it with some more either ornaments, or they'll speed up the rhythm like this with eighth notes and just kind of have some fun with it. So we did that with this melody, and here I'll just play through it. So 4 clicks and we'll start. These challenge melodies are not intended to be played right away by students, yeah, we'll go on to these more melodies for everyone else to play here in a second. So it's kind of a nice progression through just a bass note to a bass in a melody, to expanding our melody, to expanding our bass line a little bit, to playing with the melody even more. Okay, to end this lesson, we're going to go through several different melodies, and each one of these melodies will do just the melody on its own, and then we'll add a simple bass line to it afterwards. So this is, as always, we're going to label it with M for melody, 5 for the lesson number, and then just some prefix. So this is letter A, M5A. Okay, let's start this. 4 clicks and we'll start. Now with bass. Okay, same thing one more time from the top, just melody. Bass and melody. noticed on all of these bass notes we used our thumb, and we even had one more bass note that we haven't used as a bass note before in this lesson, and that was this. Right, trying to get it highlighted the right way. Come on, there we go. So this is a G, which we've usually been playing with our either I or M or even A, but you can also use your thumb to treat this as a bass note. Right. Okay, going on to the next melody here, just the melody first and then the melody in the bass. With the bass now, 3, 4. Same thing again, just melody. And bass and melody. That is our lesson 5. Today we went over the thumb on the right hand. We went over the A finger on the right hand. So now we have thumb, index, middle, and ring finger to use. Next lesson we'll be going over more melodies. So we're probably going to add a few notes on maybe the D string, but pretty much just a review and expansion of this lesson. We're not going to introduce too much more new material. So, thank you for watching. Tomorrow we'll be doing this around the same time. That is 3 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can always watch on Twitch. If you want to see the live lessons, if you're watching on Twitch, you can catch these VODs on YouTube if you want to rewatch them. Sheet music is in the description of the YouTube video, and it's also at the bottom of the Twitch video and under the panel. So, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.